We want to welcome you to All Things Real Estate, brought to you by the GK Group. Now, here are your hosts, Brad Avergon and Gary Kelly.
Well, hello, Brad.
Hi, Gary.
How are you today?
I am stuffed with turkey and stuffing, and just like the turkey was before Thanksgiving, I'm what's left afterwards. I'm doing well.
Well, that's an interesting way of looking at it. We're recording this. They don't want us to say when we record it, but Cyber Monday is when this is being recorded. So for those of you that follow what we're doing, this will get published before the end of the year, and that's a good thing. Mm-hmm. So Brad, your holiday was your Thanksgiving holiday was good?
It was great. We had a bunch of people here. We ate more than we should have, and but it was wonderful. I did that Thanksgiving thing. I saw you there, that nice thing we do, the dinner for the community, and then came back here and fed myself for Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We had a lot of turkey and leftovers, so that's always fun.
My Thanksgiving was start in Uxbridge with my daughter and her family, and then move to the Westboro Community Thanksgiving, and where you prepared and cut and carved food, and I was the greeter and all that. And then I drove up to Maine and spent some time up there with family and friends. So it was good.
Excellent.
Good.
Excellent.
Thanksgiving is, I think you know, is my favorite holiday. So you've got to try to do what you can to enjoy the time when you can.
I didn't know that, Gary. That's a good little piece of Gary trivia that I didn't know till now. So
it's absolutely. I mean, you get together with people that you want to be with. You don't have to do gifts. It's you eat like pigs. You watch TV, football games. It's just fun, and there's no pretense. I find that as you start to roll forward into whatever you observe, Hanukkah, Christmas, Festivus, whatever, there's always tension around gifts and how many gifts and what was the price of the gift and all. And I just really don't like that at all.
It definitely gets more commercial as you get closer to the December holidays versus Thanksgiving is more about kind of taking pause and thinking about, giving thanks.
So, Brad, if someone wanted to sell their house during the holidays, what would you tell them?
If they wanted to sell their house during the holidays, I would say to them, you know what? Make sure you don't have any events planned going through your house, and keep your house kind of neutral if you can. It's a good time for people that are out there. They're serious, right? Buyers are serious, sellers are serious.
That's true, and I think that one of the keys that people say, "Oh, I don't want to have people coming through my house. I want to put up my decorations and stuff," and all that's true. And you should be comfortable. I would suggest that if people are going to start to decorate their homes and they anticipate selling, that they decorate minimally, because having stuff on every doorknob and every step of the way through the house can be cumbersome, particularly if you're not of the same persuasion. It can be a turnoff to people.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think a lot of, when people look at a home, one of the things that sellers forget sometimes is that they may be coming from a different background. They may be minimalist. They may be of another faith. They may be there. And so the ability to picture themselves in that home, if it's decorated very differently than they might decorate, becomes a little bit more challenging. The other thing is, don't forget, if people are walking around your yard, I don't know if you noticed, like a lot of people have those blow up Christmas ornaments and different things like that. There's cords, there's wires. You don't want anybody tripping over one of those things and hurting themselves. So you do kind of have to keep in mind, if you're selling your house, I think being a minimalist that year is probably a good suggestion.
But at the same time, in the words of the infamous Donald Trump, we're going to say Merry Christmas to each other, if that's what's needed. And I don't care if you're Merry Christmas, Happy Festivus, Happy Hanukkah. It doesn't matter. And I'm not trying to make this a political thing. I'm trying to be a little funny. At the same time, you've got to celebrate what you celebrate, and because you get to do it once a year, basically. I know that there are people, I've been in houses where people put up the let's say Christmas decorations, and they leave them up year round.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. It's a little odd, but that's what they like. And, their view is, we love Christmas. Why would we take it down in mid-January and put it away? Now, that's not quite for me, but that's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I think one of the things people forget is, this time of year, it starts getting dark earlier. So I think right now in our area in particular, sundown's at 4:16. So, you want to see a house in the evening, it'd really be nice if the sellers left their lights on.
Absolutely.
Okay, at least some, because as a realtor, I walk into a property, and the first thing I'm doing once I get past the lockbox, first thing I'm doing is stumbling to find a light switch. And most light switches are within an arm's length of the door, so you're in pretty good shape. But not all. And some people, if they've got their holiday stuff, it may be impeding Gary's ability to get to the light switch, which becomes awkward because you don't want to knock someone's stuff over and all that. So I think that's important.
Yeah, the other aspect of that, again, is not to minimize this at all, but is the safety aspect of it. If you have people walking around your house, it's very easy now to have, a little bit of even a little bit of drizzle come down, and if it hits the ground at the temperature that it is right now, that's going to freeze and become black ice. And so it's really important that by keeping lights on, exterior lights on, as well as interior lights on, people can see where they're going. They're not familiar with where the black ice is forms, like you might be on your own driveway or your own walkway, So having that out there, having those areas cleared and clean and well lit is important.
One of the things that I think is interesting about that is we've got a house that we're selling in Marlboro, and the owners said to us about 2 months ago, would like to get a power wash. We said, okay. So we made arrangements for someone to come by with a power washer and take care of things. And then the night before, they said, we don't think we want to do that. The tenants may not play nice. But this morning, they reached out and said, we'd like to power wash the house. Well, it's 27 degrees where I am right now. So yeah. I think power washing, I did talk to the company, and the guy said that, this is their last week of doing it. He'll try to squeeze us in. So there may be a shot of doing it, but I wouldn't think of power washing in sub-freezing weather.
No. That's your house could look like a big igloo.
Right.
You freeze it out there, it freezes on contact.
Well, the other thing is, I think that if it does snow, which, we've been kind of spoiled in this part of New England for a number of years now, where we really haven't had that much snow. It used to be, I remember one winter not that long ago where, we were outside every day shoveling snow. We're not shoveling the cold. And, as you point out, if it does snow and you do have icy patches in your yard, you got to clean that up. And what I say to people is you got to clean up where people walk. A path to the backyard might be nice if your house is set up that way, or at least being able to get out of the house, maybe onto the back deck, whatever you've got in the back. But, make a path to the utilities so that the inspector, if nothing else, can get over and look at the utilities. I think that that's important.
Absolutely. Gary, do you think it's reasonable for sellers to expect that, as we get into winter here, for people looking at their home to take their shoes off, or do you think that's not reasonable to expect that?
So here's the thing, okay? Generally speaking, I don't like having people take their shoes off, okay? Because you're immediately putting a negative up for someone coming into the house. Your job is to sell the house, and if the first thing someone has to do is put a booty on or whatever, that's a negative. However, contradicting myself now, if it's been snowy and it's slushy or there's puddles, yeah, I think you want to show respect to the seller's house and take shoes off or wear booties. One of my issues is that I don't have big feet, but my shoes tend to be big. And so getting the stupid booty on is not always readily done. So I end up going around in socks or bare feet. And that to me isn't quite nice. The other thing that comes up with it is if you're going to go down and take a look in the basement, you really, if it's not a finished basement, you really want to have shoes on down there. Okay. And so you're schlepping shoes around. But if it's a cruddy day outside, then I think you need to show the respect of the sellers, the same as you would do if you were going over to their house for a party.
Right. I guess that also reinforces your message to sellers, which is clear the walkway, clear the driveway, so people aren't traipsing through the snow to get to your front door, right? It's an easy path, it's cleared, and hopefully not tracking all of that stuff into your home.
When we list a house, we tend to buy a runner of some kind. And if the house has let's say that there's an entrance with a walkway that's in the house, maybe 20 feet long, we'll get a 20-foot long runner and put it down and let people kind of walk down that before they get into the rest of the house. Again, it gets back to how do you protect the house for other people.
Great idea.
So I think that's important. What about light timers?
Yeah, I think that's really important because, if you're not going to be home necessarily, hopefully not to show your home, right? That's what the listing agent and the buyer agents do. But I think having light timers is a really good idea so that the house is bright and warm and welcoming. When people arrive, they can see with the lights rather than wait till they walk in and have to flick the light switch. They can see what the house looks like from the outside when they pull up and how warm and welcoming that is. And again, talking about security, if you have some lights on, right, they can see the walkway if it's nighttime and such. But I think that's a really good idea.
There's so many ways to do it too. I mean, if the house doesn't have lighting in the yard, you can buy some of those battery operated LED lights that go out in the yard. They don't have to look like candy canes and look like the seasonally appropriate lights, but that's a way of throwing some light on the situation without going too far overboard and without putting Christmas lights everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they have those nice little, and actually they're very easy to find this time of year because of all the holiday lighting that's out there. But you can find those little floodlights that
right.
go, and then you just put them on a timer and plug them to that. Most people have an exterior box on their, outside one weatherproof outlet, and they plug right into that on a little timer. Works like a dream.
So Brad, let's hold that thought. Before you get electrocuted with the electric outlet. And let's pick up in the second half of the show.
Sounds good, Gary. See you on the flip side.
Thank you for watching All Things Real Estate. We'll be right back.